start it off, let me ask you all this. Do y'all believe in miracles? Because I do. I did, and will always do. Well, I've always proven for myself how powerful miracles are, how much I engage myself in positive thinking, of how much faith I have in God. Although it doesn't show through my very busy schedule, honestly, I can honestly confess that I do pray a lot, even when I'm driving on the interstate or just simply alone by myself. So what's the denotative meaning of a miracle? I see from a lot of definitions all over the internet. Of course, they all have their own definitions. So through my own definition of a miracle, it is simply something that you least expect to happen, whether you like it or not, but usually it comes out in a good way. I remember when I was only 16 and I've been watching MTV Cribs. Every time a celebrity introduces their house and finally announces their precious bedrooms, they usually call it where magic happens. So I was thinking, how could it happen? Do they have magic tricks or playing cards when they practice magical secrets? Maybe that's why some magicians are good at keeping their secret stuff. So, I remember when I was so silly at that time, I had a lot of questions to myself. But now that I'm grown and trying to act like I'm already grown, I now understand the whole point of believing in miracles. I think it depends on the person if he or she believes in one thing or another. Usually, the optimistic person with a very good motivation succeeds in positive thinking. But people who doesn't really believe that something will happen eventually out of his or her doubt, it usually does happen. It's like when you wait on a bus feeling also overwhelmed because of despair, just because you've been waiting on it for like forever and you feel like it's not coming anymore. Sometimes the bus just comes when you least expect it. I know in California or in Chicago they have a good public transportation, but here in Florida, in Jacksonville, a lot of people live here. but as you know, people. Maybe it's because I was born, in the city. Well, if you know the bus, maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. I believe there are two forms of miracles, either physically or mentally. How about attraction? What do we all know about it? Isn't it in physics we learned that opposites attract? How about when we were talking about psychologically attracting something? Does it always have to mean that we have to think the opposite way? Of course not. And that's what you call common sense. But really, when you say attraction, it is something or anything that we attract. It could be sensual, perceptual, emotional, or just physical. So when we talk about attracting something, it is usually something what we've been unconsciously thinking about. And where I got this from? The book of the Law of Attraction, or from that video. Do you all remember the Secrets video? Yeah, the thing that we watched a few years ago with a lot of philosophers and testimonials. So that's the one. If y'all can remember, there are 3 rules to apply. First, you have to think what you really want. Ask yourself. You can write it down. Think about what you really want in life. The second you have to do is visualize. Imagine and you feel that you already have it as if it's already there. Isn't it? It feels so good to think that you don't have any money problems anymore when you think about you won the lottery. The best, and the last thing that you have to do is to thank. Thank God and thank yourself for making yourself feel good that you already have it. The tricky part is, you have to do it. You have to practice it psychologically and subconsciously. The best thing you can do before you get to sleep, think of everything you want, whether it is possible or not. Just have faith that it will come true and it will happen eventually. So now the reason why I'm here in front of you all is to convince that everything happens for a reason. Whatever you think, whatever good or bad, expected or unexpected, unconsciously you're attracting it. It is like applying of what we learned in physics and psychology. Whatever we think subconsciously, we're attracting it. It's a funny way to think and analyze the first time we hear this explanation and completely understand the whole concept of thinking and attracting things. I think when we get used to it, we're gonna have so much fun. So why am I saying this law of attraction stuff? Would you believe a miracle happens through the use of positive thinking? Yes, people have always believed that it is that I think it's just hard to apply and believe it sometimes, especially when you're already feeling hopeless. You know what, my dear family, we should always remember that there is a power, there is a strong force when we attract things. So, if early in the morning you think about happy thoughts, just happy thoughts, constantly and throughout the day, everything's gonna be fine. Something may not happen as you planned, don't worry about it. Just say to yourself, this too shall pass. And it's true. Life goes on, as what the late rapper Tupac once said. When you keep practicing this fun way on how to make your dreams come true, you're gonna love it and you'll be amazed with the results. So why think about the negative things? Couldn't we all think about the positive things instead? I know it's hard, but you can ask yourself, is it really worth it to be pessimistic? How about saying all what you want, subconsciously, and what you really want? This may sound kind of crazy, but no one will ever hear you except you. If you don't want to look and sound crazy, you don't have to tell it to people and say it loud. You can naturally just keep it to yourself and think about unconsciously. Simple as that, nothing to lose. And before I forget, I want to share you all my very amazing experience when I was trying to do this law of attraction thing. The first time I read about it, it surely did amaze me. I cannot believe I've almost got everything what I wanted, even though I was just playing with it at first. I remember going to Adobe Photoshop and I was putting all my pictures on one picture. I put my dream car there, how I want to be and everything, whatever I wanted in a couple of months. So I was cleaning up my hard disk back in 2008. It was just recently, just cleaning up. I found that one whole picture containing my dreams and goals in life, the one I saved it. When I saw it, I was like, wow. The sports car is there, and now, the Mustang is parked there. And my dream camera, the Canon T2i, I just picked it up from Best Buy the other day. And the smileys there, I put the smiley there, and I always smiled no matter what. So yeah, I got surprised. And now that I wanted my mom to get better as soon as possible, like there's an easy way to help, combat her sickness. Every time I drive an interstate, I've always told myself, she is well, she's well, she's well. And I've always smiled, like no one can ever see me driving and smiling alone. I was smiling alone anyway. Well, there were some distracting drivers who looks at me when I pass or cut them off, but of course, why would I show them that I was smiling, laughing all by myself? So the last couple of weeks, my mom had a PET scan. A PET scan, by the way, is some machine that they use to do the progress of cancer cells in layman's or whatever. So I was at work busy with a lot of patients. I knew my mom's time on the doctor's appointment was, I think, 1 or 3, something like that. And so her oncologist, my mom and her oncologist called me up on the phone, and they told me that everything disappeared. So when I hang up the phone, I was actually before that, before I reminded her. Nawala na akong ulit nga.
Sige na, ituloy mo na.
Before that actually,
Before your PET scan, you reminded me to...
Yeah, I reminded mom that, she's well, she's well, she's well. So after a couple of weeks, they called me and they said, the thing that metastasized, the bones and the bones, it all disappeared. So I was really happy, and then like when we went out from the church, I just remembered, the thing that I was practicing, that law of attraction. I was unconsciously and subconsciously talking to myself, and I was telling her that she's well, my mom is okay, she's healthy. So from that time on, I remember what I was doing. So yeah. So This miraculous event that I shared with you all, I hope it will give us a significant amount of lesson. Life can be hard sometimes, but this thing we've been experiencing right now, I believe that it will all pass in God's time. Nothing is permanent. We should all remember that. And before I let you guys go, I want you all to ask and tell yourself, what do you guys really want? Or what do I really want? Remember, think. Think first and visualize that that it's already there. And believe that it's going to happen, or believe that you're going to have it. And of course, don't forget to smile so you can feel it. And that's it.